Welcome to our home.
Hi there, Plasticjunky here with my very special guest, Protoman from Proto Retro.
How you doing, guys?
And finally, I got him here, and we're doing a review with two extremely rare Transformers that he got that had to come out and got, I guess, discontinued.
They were never produced, actually.
Never produced.
Yeah.
So I'm in that he's actually here in my toy cave, and I'm so happy that he's here. And he is a friend of mine. It's not like I'm saying this because he's here. No, he is my friend. I know him since he was 12. Anyways, Protoman from Proto Retro, please take it away.
So the two figures we're going to be talking about today are actually, they were two Target exclusive toys that came out during the 2007 movie line. Although these came out in 2009, just before Revenge of the Fallen came out. There was a wave of Target exclusive Transformers which had three different figures: Reverb, Backtrack, and another one. Reverb. This is Gunbarrel, and the other one was called Backtrack. And these were supposed to be released for 2009, and they were going to be available all throughout Target. In the end, none of that ever happened. They never got released at all. And the only reason why we know about these were solicitations on Hasbro.com's website. Years passed, and then on eBay, these two popped up. And I just threw money at them, essentially. I just kind of do that.
You have to have them, huh?
Or it's just like anything that has very low numbers, or these are actually production samples, which is what they are essentially. They come in a weird plastic when they're shipped, and they don't end up like in the same plastic that.
Do you want to show off the plastic?
Yeah, I might as well show how usually how. A Transformer toy is shipped. It's shipped in its bubble casing and everything, but it comes in what's called a production. These are actually for people that are familiar with the Transformer exclusive mail order toys. They come in stuff similar to this in boxes, but they came in stuff like this, which is used only when they ship.
Why are you putting the Transformer in there?
Oh, excuse me. Only when they ship. When they ship the samples, or when they ship prototypes or resin casts, they usually put it in stuff like that to protect it. So it really also says the history of whatever those items were at one point. They were factory samples, or they were archive samples. Sometimes Hasbro keeps one of every figure and puts it in their archive in Rhode Island. So we don't really know the whole history of where these came from, but the point is they're in our hands now. But
how many were produced?
With very low numbers, probably, because samples are usually done in dozens. So they usually do and the samples, what they're usually used for is they send them to catalog companies, they send them to photography companies, where and this is a very common thing people have from the 80s, where we would see an old catalog of something, and there'll be a toy in that catalog that never showed up, or it'll have a unique color scheme that the final product wasn't like.
Yeah.
And those are usually, and again, so chances are, what I think this was, because of the bubble also, it didn't come directly from Hasbro's archives, but it was probably something that was sent to a catalog company, let's say, I don't know, Toys R Us or something.
Got them for free.
They got it for free. It was probably sitting. It was probably sitting in. They were probably used for, like, when they would do now on special Scout figures, 15% off, and they have to use a generic photo. They had these in their archives, and now they just ended up for sale. So usually in the world, there's about, in general, a dozen. And I'm not saying that it makes it extremely expensive or something. It's all a matter of demand, but it does show its numbers are very small. I'll get into specifically who these two characters are. The first one, which is this helicopter here, is a Reverb. And Reverb was actually, it's a repaint of a previously existing Transformer mold called Vorter, or better known as Vortex, from the Transformers Energon line, also known as Superlink. And the color, it was a repaint of Vorter. And Vorter got these colors, according to Joe Kide, who's the guy who's in charge of the colors for Transformer toys. He claims that this was actually a homage to a Minicon named Stormcloud. And I kind of see it, although there was another Transformer named Death Cobra from Transformers Victory, and I find he kind of looks like that too. I'm just going to transform it quickly just to show you guys.
They sound like names from G.I.Joe.
Oh, well, you're talking two lines that shared names constantly.
It's true, yeah. I forgot about that.
There's Transformers that are named Roadblock. There's G.I.Joe characters that are named Sideswipe. So,
there was even a Decepticon motorcycle that named Road Pig.
There was a Decepticon named there was a G.I. Joe character named Shockwave.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, true.
So, and because that's usually it's how they protect their names. Another good example is C.O.P.S. C.O.P.S actually existed. That entire line existed on top of trying to compensate for the 6-inch market that they were losing out on at the time of action figures. C.O.P.S also existed to save the names of Transformer and G.I. Joe characters.
Yeah.
Inferno, Roadblock, there was Barricade, and then later on other characters like the Blue Streak, which was the motorcycle for Highway. You know, keeping those names of characters.
Blue Streak is a Transformer.
But it was the name of a motorcycle in C.O.P.S in order to keep the name.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
So this is Reverb, and again, he was based off of that Combiner team. So if you look at his weapon, it kind of looks like a hand because originally it was supposed to be part of, like, this mold was used for the Bruticus Energon release.
Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, technically we don't know because we never learned the bios. If we look on him, I mean, I think he has a Autobot or Decepticon logo. I actually never see this one has a Decepticon logo on it, so I guess it's a bad guy in theory.
Did you mention that the original usage of this mold was to make Vortex?
Well, Vortex from the Energon line.
Yeah, okay. I like him already. I love Vortex.
And he was called, like, he wasn't called. Unfortunately, at the time they didn't have the rights to the name Vortex when Energon came out, so the mold was called, I believe, Blackout, which was another helicopter from Transformers. But in Japan, because there's no name licensing issues, he was called Vorter, which is what Vortex's Japanese name is. So this is Reverb. I mean, this little hand here that would also be used for the Combiner thing, it actually comes off and it makes the little guns for him and stuff. It's, you know, it's one of those nice little figures that have that little Energon gimmick and everything. And if you look carefully, he also has the Energon chip from Energon, which was another gimmick that came from that line where they all had little Energon chips. And if you fold his head in, you even see the Combiner port for the Combiner to make the arm or leg for the character of Bruticus. Again, when these toys were released, there was no mention of them being a Combiner piece. These were just standalone figures, the original intent. So, that is Reverb. This one here is Gunbarrel. Same story. Originally intended, well, the original mold itself was used for the Bruticus, for the character of Brawl, you know. And I believe this one, I'm trying to remember what his name was in... I know that in Energon, the name of the character was called Kickback because they just didn't have the rights to the name Brawl at the time. And Brawl is a very common name, so they used an Insecticon name. And I know it's very confusing. But
Kickback was an Insecticon.
Yeah, he was. That's just it.
Grasshopper.
Exactly. So, you know, at the time in 2003, they didn't have the rights to those names. So this mold was actually used for a character named Kickback, which was Brawl in Japan. And years later, 2009, they were going to use this mold to make this character Gunbarrel. So Gunbarrel, typical, like, you know, tank kind of thing going on. Again, also has the Energon weapon. And this one, if you look carefully, turns into a foot.
Oh, wow.
So that was the, and again, now this was all completely not intended for these. These guys weren't intended for any kind of combiner idea. It was just we were going to take these molds and get some extra life out of them. Same thing, it has the Energon chip, which is this there. We'll transform him quickly, which is, he's very simple too. Actually has a nicer design, I find, because he has like this cape thing going on. And the thing with a lot of these molds, especially back then, was these molds were already kind of old to begin with. And what I mean by that is...
You've transformed this mold before, that's what you're trying to say.
No, what I'm trying to say by that is, by their old molds, is that while these are toys that were intended for 2009, they come from toys that were created in 2003. And because they were made in 2003, they have that dated kind of engineering to them, but they're still pretty cool.
They also have that nice blocky look.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like that though.
And that was, see, and he kind of...
I like this guy better.
Yeah,
than
he has
the
like
other
a
guy.
cape kind of thing going on.
Nice.
He was a lot nicer. And again, the weapon, which becomes the foot, could also become an individual weapon for him too. But because he already kind of has weapons, and it also made a satellite dish for the family. But yeah, Gunbarrel was a lot nicer. And again, these were two guys that at one point were going to come out. They were going to be Target exclusives and then alternatively released as Zeller's exclusives for Canadians. And in the end, they just never got released at all. You know, I guess because it was 2009, their intent, the Revenge of the Fallen movie was coming out, so maybe they just wanted to move the line forward and focus on the new toys rather than focusing on the old stuff. So, I mean, I was very lucky to get these, and they're two really nice pieces, and I like the unique color schemes that they have. Specifically, this one, because of it being a homage to both Stormcloud and Death Cobra from Transformers Victory. Yeah, there's not much more I could say about that, really.
Okay. This guy, I give him a 3, but this guy gotta give him a 5 and up. He's so nice.
He has a nice silhouette. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Like me, I'm not much into the newer Transformers. Like, you know, Protoman knows that I love large Transformers. It's not because I like large Transformers, because I'm a Shogun Warrior collector. So I said to myself, if I have to have robots, I want to have some that are exactly big as you know.
You want giant robots.
Yeah, I like giant robots. But he's nice for a small figure. I would definitely, if it would be made, I would probably would have bought him. This guy, not too much. I'm not much of a helicopter guy, but
the tank. I agree. It has a nice like kind of Batman cloak thing going. It's
well, guys, I hate to disagree, but I really like the helicopter a lot more.
Everybody has to agree on what they want.
Personally, what I also like the helicopter because of its history, because of the colors that they tried to do.
No, the colors are nice. I gotta admit it, the colors are beautiful because it looks like something out of G.I.Joe.
Oh yeah.
That's what I like about it. They didn't use a stupid ass color that are ugly for a
the guy who's in charge of repaints for Transformer toys, just repaints, not base colors, but repaints, is Joe Kide, and Joe Kide is in charge of a lot of the color schemes for any of Hasbro's properties. So it's a very possibility that he probably worked on Joe's stuff at one point also.
Really cool. Yeah, for me, the reason why I like him, of course, because he makes me think he's Vortex. So, so yeah, that pretty much. I've been doing a little bit of research on Transformers, like their individual characters and personalities, and yeah, he's quickly becoming Vortex, one of my favorites. So anyway, that's my opinion.
More or less it.
Pretty cool.
That's it.
Thank you very much for coming to my Toy Cave Protoman from Proto Retro.
No problem.
And Plasticjunky out. I enjoyed this review of rare Transformers from Protoman. My JoeNerd and Godfather here too.
No.
Thank you very much for all guys coming, and stay plastic and roll out.
Perfect.